Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jam Vishupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotra Shatashi Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj srimadbhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Garanga. That's right. Thanks. So there's no verse, huh? Maybe there is. So it's Canto 4, Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 14, Text 26. 4:14:26. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So is everybody on the verse? They have a verse? Yeah. Yeah. There's 26 and 27, but we'll just chant 26. Vishnu Vrincho Girisha Indro Vayor Yamo Ravihi Parjanyo Danada Soma Chatir Agnir Apapatihi Vishnor Varencho Girisha Indro Vayor Yamo Ravihi Parjanyo Danada Soma Chatir Agnir Apampatihi Vishno Varencho Girisha Indravayo Yamo Ravihi Parjanyo Danada Soma Chatir Agnir Apampatihi Alright, word by word. Vishnu, Lord Vishnu. Virinchaha, Lord Brahma. Girishaha, Lord Shiva. Indraha, Lord Indra. Vayu, Vayu, the director of the air. Yamaha, Yama, the superintendent of death. Ravi, the sun god. Parjanyaha, the director of all rainfall. Dhanadaha, Kuvera, the treasurer. Somaha, the moon god. Chitihi, the predominating deity of the earth. Agnihi, the fire god. Apampatihi, Varuna, the lord of waters. Ete, all these. Cha, and. Anye, others. Cha, also. Buddha, demigods. Prabhavaha, competent. Vadashapayoho, in both benediction and curse. Dehe, in the body. Bhavanti, abide. Nirpatihe, of the king. Sarvadeva Mayaha, comprising all the demigods. Nripaha, the king. Ite chanyatra Buddha Prabhu Varashapayoho Dehe Bhavanti Dirpete Sarvadeva Mayo Nripaha. Translation. Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Indra, Vayu, the master of air, Yama, the superintendent of death, the sun god and the director of rainfall, Kuvera, the treasurer, the moon god, the predominating deity of the earth, Agni, the fire god, Varuna, the lord of waters, and all others who are great and competent to bestow benedictions or to curse, all abide in the body of the king. This is King Vena speaking. For this reason, the king is known as the reservoir of all the demigods. You who are simply parts and parcels of the king's body. Purport. There are many demons who think of themselves as the supreme and present themselves as the directors of the sun, moon, and other planets. This is all due to false pride. Similarly, King Vena developed the demonic mentality and presented himself as the supreme personality of Godhead. Such demons are numerous in this age of Kali, and all of them are condemned by great sages and saintly persons. So read a few more. King Vena continued, For this reason, O Brahmins, you should abandon your envy of me, and by your ritualistic activities you should worship me and offer me all paraphernalia. If you're intelligent, you should know that there is no personality superior to me who can accept the first oblations of all sacrifices. Purport. As stated by Krishna himself throughout Bhagavad Gita, there is no truth superior to him. King Vena was imitating the Supreme Personality of Godhead and was also speaking out of false pride, presenting himself as the Supreme Lord. These are all characteristics of a demonic person. The great sage Maitreya continued, Thus the king who became unintelligent due to his sinful life and deviation from the right path became actually bereft of all good fortune. He could not accept the requests of the great sages, which the sages put before him with great respect, and therefore he was condemned. Purport. The demons certainly cannot have any faith in the words of authorities. In fact, they are always disrespectful to authorities. They manufacture their own religious principles and disobey great personalities like Vyasa, Narada, and even the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. As soon as one disobeys authority, he immediately becomes very sinful and loses his good fortune. The king was so puffed up and impudent that he dared disrespect the great saintly personalities, and this brought him ruination. Two more. My dear Vidura, all good fortune unto you. The foolish king who thought himself very learned thus insulted the great sages, and the sages, being broken-hearted by the king's words, became very angry at him. Hanyatam esha papa prakriti durunaha jivan jagad isavasu shu kurute basmasadruvam. Hanyatam means kill him. All the great sages, saintly sages immediately cried, Kill him! He is the most dreadful, sinful person. If he lives, he will certainly turn the whole world into ashes in no time. Purport. So in the next few verses it explains exactly how he was killed, but we're just going to stop here. This purport. Saintly persons are generally very kind to all kinds of living entities, but they are not unhappy when a serpent or a scorpion is killed. It is not good for saintly persons to kill, but they are encouraged to kill demons who are exactly like serpents and scorpions. Therefore, all the saintly sages decided to kill King Vena, who was so dreadful and dangerous to all human society. We can appreciate the extent to which the saintly sages actually controlled the king. If the king or government becomes demonic, it is the duty of a saintly person to upset the government and replace it with deserving persons who follow the orders and instructions of saintly persons. Sorry. Om Ganati Padandasya Gananjana Shavakaya Chakshulan Meditam Vena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Makam Karitavachalam Pangam Nangate Karim Yakipata Maham Vande Shri Gurundinatarinam Vancha Kapadubhisha Kipasindu Vevicha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasri Gauda Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Alright, so we're coming to a conclusion. Vena Maharaj's reign is soon ending. The last verse we just read, it said that the sage was saying, just kill him, and then the next few verses, that's exactly what's going to happen. And why is that? Because he is completely gone insane. He's completely gone crazy. And aside from that, he's become offensive towards the Brahmins. He's become offensive towards everyone. And some of these verses describe some of his outrageous claims that he's superior to all the demigods. And aside from that, he's saying that he's God, actually. You know, everything. You should worship me and offer me all paraphernalia. If you're intelligent, you should know there's no personality superior to me who can accept the first oblations of all sacrifices. So King Vena is imitating the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, and Prabhupada says that there's many such demons within the modern world. Of course, they may not out and out say that they're God, but practically speaking, how they act, how they operate, that's the mood they're in. That they're acting as if they were the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or trying to act as if they're the Supreme Personality, trying to take that position, which is already taken. So it's insanity. So King Vena went insane. So therefore, the sages are going to act and remove him. And Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, one time he was walking on the balcony in his Mayapur ashram, and Prabhupada was there, and Prabhupada was a young householder, and apparently there was a snake. There was a snake in the courtyard. So there was a snake in the courtyard, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he advised one of his disciples, requested one of his disciples to kill the snake. And that's what the disciple did. He killed the snake. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was actually quite happy about it. He requested it, and he was happy when it was done. And Srila Prabhupada was wondering that, this is my spiritual master. Of course, he never doubted him, but it was a curiosity in his mind that, why did Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur do that? Why did he have that snake killed? And later, Srila Prabhupada, he read in, where was the Bhagavatam or the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that even saintly persons are happy when poisonous snakes, or also people like that, are removed or killed because they're causing so much disturbance. And in relation to that, sometimes, like Srila Prabhupada would mention sometimes, being devotees in this world means sometimes the demons, the asuras, give the devotees a hard time. They maybe torture the devotees or punish the devotees or something like that. And he gives the example, there's Srila Haridas Thakur, there's Lord Jesus Christ. In modern times, right, there was the Russia and so many other places. So asuras sometimes try to stop the devotees from engaging in devotional activities. So I'm sure the Prabhupada was trying to obtain that land in Juhu, which he did. There's a long historical account of how that all happened, which there's a book coming out soon by my spiritual master. It's already been written. It's just doing some final editing stages, and it'll be printed hopefully somewhat soon. But so when Srila Prabhupada, apparently Srila Prabhupada, he saw that land before he left India. to come to America, and he was thinking of building a temple there. And then Srila Prabhupada came to America, and then in his mind he revisited, and then he actually revisited that land, and he wanted that land, so he spoke with A.B. Nair, Mr. Nair. And Mr. Nair, he apparently cheated a few people already, because he was quite a high-up personality. He used to be the sheriff of the town, I believe, and he had some money, so he's able to buy out some newspapers, and they were and he had some control in the government. So in other words, sometimes he'd get what he want. So he was thinking also, oh, I'll just cheat this sadhu. I'll just cheat this sadhu. I'll cheat Srila Prabhupada. And there was a bunch of schemes he came up with that. There's certain conditions, this and that, certain contracts, and pretty much he wanted Srila Prabhupada to give him, he wanted to cheat him out of money. That was the basic principle, which he did with others in the past. But Srila Prabhupada, his first idea was that he wanted to put Radha Rasa Bihari there, right on the land. So that's what he did. He put Radha Rasa Bihari there. And there's many devotees there, and living in very austere conditions, right, with these big rats that look like little cats. And it said that they would, when devotees were sleeping, somehow or other, devotees couldn't really tell if they're getting bitten, so they would wake up and the rats would bite their legs, and there'd be blood there, and mosquitoes and this and that, and so many snakes, and just infested place. And and Prabhupada, he wanted devotees to stay there. And Tamal Krishna Goswami was there, and he said, Prabhupada, he said, we're Americans. We're not used to this type of lifestyle. We can't live like this. And there's a few devotees, and actually there was quite a few devotees saying, Prabhupada is not worth it, let's just go somewhere else. And because it's such a distance from the city of Bombay, it was kind of out in the wilderness, a little fishing village. So, wealthy people would come out, a little vacation by the beach or something, but hotels there. But there wasn't much going on. So they were thinking, we can't live like this. And then Prabhupada, he was really pushing the devotees, and he said, well, do you want to make advancement or not? That was his. So he really wanted that, and some devotees, they surrendered to that. And my spiritual master was there from the beginning to the end, when it was all built, and afterwards also. It was quite a battle. And Srila Prabhupada said that after he won, right, after the battle was won, he said that was a good battle, someone should write a book about it. So that's what my spiritual master did.
We can call this in Nukrun we'll call this Nukrun Kshetra.
Yeah. He also referred to Asana's Garaj Swami as like Arjun. That it was there.
They asked, he's young, he's junior, why is he in charge? And Prabhupada said, because he does what I ask him to do, and he will not leave.
Yeah. Yeah, and it said that, I heard that there was, sometimes Prabhupada, as spiritual master does, he points out, faults of the disciple, and of course, he would do that here and there. And in one particular case, one of the main complaints he had about Giraj Das Brahmachari, said he has too much to do, because they're very busy trying to build the temple, raise funds, all that, deal with all that. So Mr. Nair, he was actually torturing the devotees, practically speaking. He was arranging, there'd be like a man out in front, there'd be life members coming to, engage in kirtan, and etc. And then there'd be a man out front, brandishing a machete, hired by Mr. Nair, scare people away. There was one particular point where the temple that the temporary temple that they constructed was dismantled by government authorities ordered by Mr. Nair, and just really torturing the devotees.
Saved, sometimes the big brahmacharis, you know how it was saved? Mata Healy and a few of the local Indian ladies threw themselves in front of the deities. But they'd already come with bulldozers. The whole front of the temple was just like, brick building for the deities and then a corrugated steel pavilion and, whatever. And they'd already destroyed the mandap in front, the pavilion, and all that was left was the brick deity house. And Mata Healy and a few other initiated Indian devotees or local Indian friends, ladies, threw themselves in front of the deity's house and said, "You'll have to kill us first." That's courage. Just thought I'd throw that in.
Yeah. So he's torturing the devotees in many ways, and it's quite a long thing, and there's many things that happen, so we won't get into all the details. But at one point, this is kind of heading towards the end in relation to them actually. Getting close to build the temple, all that. And so Srila Prabhupada had a conversation with Mr. Nair. And devotees were there. And all along, Mr. Nair, although he was an asura, and although he was trying to cheat Srila Prabhupada, torture the devotees, he always more or less, in a superficial way, had some basic kind of cultural respect for Prabhupada and how he dealt with them. Although... although he was just really out of control. But at this particular meeting, Mr. Nair was there speaking with Prabhupada, and then the devotees were there, and then Prabhupada asked the devotees to go to the other room. So the devotees went to the other room, and then he heard Mr. Nair and Srila Prabhupada speaking. All the devotees heard Mr. Nair and Srila Prabhupada speaking. And they're speaking, and then they started shouting at each other. They started yelling at each other, back and forth. And Mr. Nair said, Prabhupada saying, "That land belongs to Krishna." And Mr. Nair said, "No, it belongs to me." And then he said, and then Prabhupada said, "No, it belongs to Krishna," because Radharasa Bihar was there. And then Mr. Nair said, "Oh, Krishna?" He said, "I'll break your Krishna." That's what he said. And so they're shouting like this back and forth. "Who is Krishna? I'll break your Krishna." He said that. So, and that was like really the height of, And Srila Prabhupada said that before that meeting, he saw that Mr. Nair was limping. His health wasn't, whatever. So then some short time after that, some weeks or a month or so on, something like that, after that, my spiritual master was walking in the city of Bombay, and, making life members, this and that, collecting to build the temple. And he said he glances down and he looks at the local newspaper. And then on the newspaper it said, A.B. Nair died. And my spiritual master, he was, as he explains it, he said he was the first to see it, to know about this. And then in his mind, he actually felt like overjoyed. He actually felt happiness, And he was thinking, is this correct? I mean, is this the right mood for a Vaishnava? And I just, he was having a hard time. But nonetheless, he felt like that. So he went back to the temple, he informed all the devotees. And all the devotees are also feeling overjoyed. And they're all kind of milling around, very happy. And so then, but still, he's not sure if this is right. So he contacts Srila Prabhupada. And I forgot whether it was by phone or by a letter. But he contacts Srila Prabhupada. I believe it's by phone. And Srila Prabhupada's there with Shrutakirti Harishari, and then they tell Srila Prabhupada the news. And then Prabhupada was there, and then he puts his, like this in pranam, he said, "Oh, I was praying to Krishna to take care of that demon, to take care of that rascal." So Prabhupada was also feeling overjoyed. Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. yeah, so then my spiritual master said, okay, it is bona fide that the feeling I have and the feeling devotees I have is authentic. So, and in relation to this, there was some class in Vrindavan a devotee was giving. I was there in Vrindavan in the Krishna Balarama temple. And devotees were asking about this. How does a devotee feel overjoyed or happy when a serpent or a Surk person is removed and so on. And something came up in relation to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, apparently he had some person that was in his life that was always giving him a hard time, like heckling him and giving him a hard time and fault finding with him. I mean, he had many people, but there was one specific person. And devotees found out that that person died. And then they went to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and said, oh, such and such died, and they're a little happy, because he was so critical of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he actually felt sad. He actually felt sad that this person passed away. And devotees were saying, oh, why Guru Maharaj, why are you feeling so sad and this and that? And he said, that person I considered my friend because he was, keeping me humble and criticizing me, and, I actually really liked that. I'm sad he left. But it's interesting because one person, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, was feeling unhappy because of this critical person, a Surk person passing away. But Srila Prabhupada was feeling happy. So what's the difference? So the difference is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur himself was being attacked. But he said, well, as long as he's not attacking the other Vaishnavas, he's just attacking me, I'm fine with it. He's keeping me humble, he's my friend. But Srila Prabhupada, he saw that Mr. Nar was attacking the devotees. He was attacking the devotees, he was attacking Krishna, and therefore he was happy when such a person passed away. And that's the difference. So that's the Vaishnav mentality. Okay, somebody's after me, okay, fine. Maybe I deserve it, maybe it's good for me, maybe it's Krishna's mercy, on and on and on. But once I start attacking the devotees, then it's a problem. So, and I think that will come up in tomorrow's verse in purport 32 about, this idea of blaspheming devotees, this and that. So King Vena is about to be kicked off, removed from the scene, rightly so. And then there's a whole thing that happens after that, and then eventually Maharaj Prithu comes and straighten things out. In this purport, the 31, that's the point that scorpions, serpents, or Asuric personalities, when they're removed from the scene, devotees are overjoyed. Why? Because they simply cause harm to people in general. So nowadays the government, it's full of the leaders. Modern leaders are full of all types of, let's say, Asuric mentality. And of course, we're not going to try to pull something like the sages did, with their high-sounding words. We go to an election or something with their high-sounding words. We, get one of the people to die or something. But we don't have that power. But of course, Lord Chaitanya says we want to kill their demonic mentality. So that we do by spreading the holy name as far as possible. And also the books. Books are recorded kirtans. They're recorded kirtans. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada said, or Bhaktisiddhanta, Brihat Mridanga. So it's a big mridanga. So the mridanga could be heard around the block, right? A few blocks maybe, if you got a few enthusiastic mridanga players. But the Brihat Mridanga, which are recorded kirtans, which has so many glorifications of Krishna and also encouragement for people to chant Hare Krishna, that could be heard all over the world. Means that, somebody gets a book here and then they take it to Iran, they take it to Iraq, or they take it to, Turkey, or they take it to Africa and so on. And that's what happens. So the kirtan spreads all over the world like that. And there's so many examples of that, like Bajranarayan Swami is given the other morning. Many examples. So, yeah, we should be careful not to, even in a small degree, be infected with the Venu mentality, or not Venu, Vena mentality. In that, we disrespect Krishna, the demigods, or Brahmins, or sages. This is like a Vena mentality. We should be very careful not to develop that even to a small degree. A disease is a disease, big or small. And we should try to live in an opposite way of Vena. In that, in one of these purports it says, he's very disrespectful to authorities. They don't have any faith in authorities, and they're always disrespectful to authorities. So we should have great faith in authorities, and we should have great faith and great respect for them. So Srila Prabhupada's followers, devotees in their own right, I mean, authorities in many ways, right? So we should have great respect and faith in devotees, and not be infected with this Vena disease. And in this way, we could somehow or other try to help the present situation of the world. Okay, so does anyone have any questions or comments? Yes, Deva Retta.
There's many instances where Prabhupada referred to ISKCON as his body.
Yeah.
So if someone is criticizing ISKCON as a whole, is that worthy of becoming angry at? Because we know we're supposed to control our anger and direct it towards those who criticize Vaishnavas or criticize Krishna. So if someone's criticizing ISKCON, is that a worthy cause to become angry over?
I mean, there's a saying, right, from, of course we don't agree with everything Abraham Lincoln stood for. I could say that. But he had some quote of saying, if you have the heart to help, you could criticize in that regard. So it's questionable sometimes if people actually have the heart to help. In other words, what are they doing practically to solve the situation? Or are they just talking? Talk is cheap. Anybody could talk. Any fool and rascal, anybody with half a brain left in Kali Yuga could see the faults within any particular society. So it's not very difficult to find faults, but it is difficult sometimes to actually try to help the situation. So that's really what it comes down to. Is the person actually trying to help the situation, or is he just being critical? The other day I was saying that sometimes, there's a lot of critical people in the world, and also devotees sometimes get into all that criticizing, fault-finding. But I was saying that a lot of these people, they'd be good gurus if they just purified themselves. But unfortunately, a lot of the times they don't purify themselves and become good gurus, be able to find all the faults within their disciples and maybe in the movement and try to help the situation. But they just become, instead of purified, they become like putrefied, rotten. So I personally just try to stay far away from anybody who's overly critical, and especially if I feel they don't have the right mood in terms of trying to help the situation. That's why sometimes Facebook and other social media is like could be like a cesspool, for devotees to go swim in, they're not bathing themselves, they're actually contaminating themselves swimming in such things. It's like, but Raghunath Das Goswami in the Mana Shiksha, Instruction of the Mind, he says that, I forgot exactly the verse, something like, through hypocritical behavior and so on, instead of bathing your consciousness in the purifying waters of Krishna consciousness and chanting the holy name, he says you're like bathing. He says that people are bathing their themselves in the donkey urine. It's like, it's not really purifying. So all this type of behavior, getting into all this, unnecessarily getting into it, and what to speak of not having the heart to help, it's just like bathing in donkey urine. It's just like, it's like useless, you know. I mean, what Brahmin wants to bathe in donkey urine? I mean, cow urine is, but not donkey urine. Cow urine's purifying, cow dung's purifying, but not donkey. And antiseptic purposes, right? So maybe somebody else has a comment or question about that or something else.
No, I thought your I thought your answer was excellent. I really did. You know, we're not blind faith. We don't want dull-headed followers. Yeah, everything's great in ISKCON. Everything's wondering, you can't. If you say anything else, I'm going to cut out your tongue. But as Balarama said, it depends on the mood, you know. And what are you doing? There was on Janmashtami, one of Prabhupada's godbrothers, or maybe a disciple of a godbrother in South India on Janmashtami, read an article criticizing the devotees in Japan. The devotees had made some mistakes in Japan. Heavy fundraising, you know, it was, you know. And Prabhupada's response was, at least we've got something in Japan. What are you doing? So it depends on what, you know, what is their mood, what is their intent, what are they doing personally. So just like Balarama said, if nobody else has a question, I know three things about Mr. Nair. So does anybody else have a question? This is from Dharma Setu, who heard it from Jayapataka Maharaj in a class, that just like Kamsa had his assistants, you know, a good asura, a villain has his cohorts, his posse, whatever you want to call it. So one of Mr. Nair's assistants, or, you know, fellow criminals in crime, they planned to pass out defamatory flyers. This was his plan. He had them all printed up, and he was in charge of the student, the teachers union. So he was well respected, and he was going to pass it all out. And it came out just before he was about to do it that he'd fallen down with, and repeatedly with several different teachers. He was completely discredited and run out of town. So that was the end of that guy. Another one wanted to meet with the life members. Somehow they got on the life members' mailing list, and he was going to meet with all the life members and poison their minds about ISKCON and Prabhupada. And he got paralyzed 2 days before the meeting, could not get out of bed, could not move for a year. Then it went away. And there was a third guy who wanted to kill Srila Prabhupada. And he hired a tantric, like black magic, you know, all kinds of mystic incantations and this and that. And he was at the attack on the Juhu temple. He was one of the guys trying to pull down the deity house. So Maladi cursed him. You're trying to burn the deities. You will burn someday. Malati Devi cursed him. And he went because he was, you know, sometimes if you send a ghost and it doesn't accomplish its task, it'll come back on you. That's part of the problems with tantric, you know, mystic incantation. Yeah, and so he went completely mad, poured gasoline, and lit himself on fire.
Yeah, it's true.
Curse of Malati.
Yeah. Yeah, it said that the devotees were at Mangalarti because, yeah, you know, they attacked the temple, and then, like Maharaj was saying, you know, this guy across the street, and it said he was laughing when the temple was coming down. So then at Mangalarti the next morning, they hear the shrieks, you know, from across the street, and yeah, that's exactly what the man did. He just lit himself on fire. Yeah, lit himself on fire. Yeah. Yeah, he self-immolated. He put gas on himself and lit himself on fire. I mean, he was quite a tamasic personality. It's described as quite a tamasic personality, and you know, he had some fame. Yeah, he had some fame. Yeah. So, try. All right. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.